Hello Power News Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today, thanks to Twitter user @OneTexasBilly, we have finally been able to complete Wave 10 of the Lightning Collection. So if you've known from more recent episodes of Lightning Storm and such, Wave 10 has been found in Targets around the country, and if you knew from my reviews from last month, GameStop had sent out 3/4 of the wave, but not the final figure in the wave in Space Pink. Well, Billy was able to help me out here. He found the whole wave in his Targets and was able to hook me up with an in Space Pink, which is here today. So, let's get this box open here. So nice to finally complete this wave after so long. So let me move this box out of here. It's all in bubble wrap and such. And there it is! Cassie, the in-space pink Ranger figure. Finally here, so we can complete not only Wave 10, but also the entirety of the in-space team. A long time coming for this one. We had to wait for it to be corrected a little bit on the shoulders, which you can see there. They did add the white paint onto the shoulders. And of course I will show this off with the whole Wave 10 lineup and of course the whole in-space team. I'm home for the weekend, but I brought the whole team with me so we can do pictures and such like that. So there's the Miranda Cosgrove head sculpt right there of Cassie. So I just think it looks like Carly from iCarly a lot. We got, of course, the Astro Blaster, the Satellite Stunner, which comes with a unique effect piece, which I really, really like when they do that. There's the Tom Whalen artwork, and while the figure got fixed in time to actually have the white stripes, the artwork did not. They still left this completely pink, like a dark pink, instead of the yellow that it's supposed to be, but oh well. So there's her box side profile of it, so looking pretty good there. And the other profile, so these are showing up in Targets. GameStop should get them soon. Pulse and Amazon still claim an April 2022 release for Wave 10, so who knows. And then there is her barcode down there, and her back render, which looks pretty good. She does have the white stripes there on the back render, so that's nice. Helmet is correct for the most part. This one shows it more curved than it actually is. It's more straightened off there than it's supposed to be. But at least they got the curve on the side more correct than they did on A-Squad Pink, which is supposed to be sharing her helmet mold. So let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look at it with all of the other figures we need to look at. Alright, so here is Cassie out of the box here, and overall, it's pretty good. It's not obviously the most amazing Lightning Collection figure. It kind of suffers that Pink Ranger problem we've kind of had with Mighty Morphin Pink, and I believe Zeo Pink has it as well, where the chest is definitely a darker shade of pink than the rest of the figure, which is unfortunate, but kind of just where we're at this point. It doesn't really bother me because from a distance and maybe even on camera, I think it looks perfectly fine. But when you look at it up close, you can definitely notice that difference in the shading. So there is that to think about here. So as you can see, they did end up painting the white on her shoulders, although they did not paint it the same way that they painted it on Ashley, which we will take a look at here in a little bit once we kind of go over all of Cassie's accessories and such like that. But basically, if you bought the Wave 6 in Space Yellow, you pretty much know what you're getting with this one. So nothing too crazy there. Same levels of articulation and everything. That head seems pretty tight on mine. Hopefully that doesn't lead to any problems with swapping the head, which we'll do in a second. But the joints all seem pretty good, which is good because I've had a couple issues with really tight female joints lately, which obviously you can just warm these figures up or something and kind of try to break them in a little bit. But she looks pretty good out of the box. So honestly, I'm I've said on Twitter and such, I'm just more appreciated that they actually did bother to paint something there instead of how it was in the original promo shots where there was nothing there. And if that's what caused this figure to take it about an extra month or so to release compared to the rest of Wave 10, I'm perfectly fine with that. So there is Cassie back there. First of all, while I'm thinking of it, these are Hasbro Pulse figure stands, link in the description below. People will always ask me. Let's go ahead and take a look at her Satellite Stunner, which is really good. I think it turned out really nice. I'm just happy that all of these in Space Rangers have consistently had their weapons. So you've got some nice pink paint there, some gray plastic up there. It's painted black on the handle, so it probably more than likely will chip in her hand, or I'm sure it will almost guarantee it that it will chip in her hand. But what's really cool, just like Ashley actually, she has a unique effect piece. So Ashley had that like double-sided purple one for her Star Slayer, and the Satellite Stunner has this really cool like radar kind of like, I guess it's like a radar swirling kind of dish effect. So there's just tiny little pink pegs sticking at the end of it, and you can just peg that in there. I would be careful not to break the peg. It shouldn't break probably because I think it's all kind of soft plastic, but that's a really cool effect. I really like that. I will probably display here with that because I just like how that looks a lot. And then you can just carefully take it out of there. I just don't want to break this peg off. You might actually be able to break this peg off now that I think about it. I don't think it is soft plastic, so be very careful with that because it's a very tiny little peg. You get the Astro Blaster, which is the same mold as the one we've had every other time. I don't remember at this point which ones were like, you know, painted blue and not done in the gray plastic or vice versa. I really don't remember. But point is, we've had this with all 5 of the main core team. We've had it with the Andros target figure. You get it. Her hands are the karate chop hand for her right hand, and a fist for her left hand, and of course she comes with 2 holding hands to start out with. And then here is Cassie's head there. So, not terrible likeness to her. I know there's like jokes about this looking like Miranda Cosgrove or Carly from iCarly or something, but I do definitely get Cassie in the head sculpt. So let's go ahead and swap it there. So just be very careful with female heads, or really any head in the Lightning Collection. And we look to be good so far, so we'll see how easy this goes on. Alrighty. Alright, so there's the likeness on the neck there. I don't have the head all the way down on the neck joint. I didn't want to end up breaking it because it was pretty tight. But obviously you get the point there. That's obviously good enough because, you know, I just don't want to break it. But it looks good. Once again, I'm always happy to get, you know, these actresses and actor likenesses with all of these. It's always fun. So let's go ahead and get that helmet back on there, which, wow, that's pretty tight as well. So I'm a little afraid of that. Okay, there we go. So I guess this one will not be one that I swap very often without applying some heat or whatever. Let's actually take a closer look there. Her visor doesn't look too screwed up. So it looks like I got through the whole In Space team without having like terrible visors. So it's a little off-center there in the middle, but good enough. I can accept that. Alright, so here's a comparison between Cassie and Ashley. And you can see what I'm talking about here. On the shoulders up here, Ashley here is more consistent with the rest of the In Space team. Mainly, obviously, like red, blue, black, and green. Green? Silver? Why I said green. So she has like this like entire like top of her shoulder painted white, while Cassie's kind of starts a little lower. So it's not going to match, but I think from a distance, especially if you like have this angled like that or something, you know, in a pose with the Satellite Stunner or whatever, you probably won't really notice it that much. But it is inconsistent. But then again, technically, Cassie actually has like the correct paint if you look at the Mega Ranger / In Space suits. And technically, the other 4 are wrong. But then again, I would rather they all just match, even if they're all incorrectly, you know, painted. As long as they match, it doesn't matter. It's weird. We'll see the whole team here in a second, so it's not that big of a deal. But that is just something to point out, how there is a difference. But these ones basically share the exact same mold, because it is just the In Space female body mold. Which I'm wondering, like, you know, Ashley here I've had for over a year, and she definitely looks like the white is not as white as it was. So maybe this figure is like slowly yellowing over time. I'm not 100% sure, because this one obviously like I just opened and is brand new and fresh and new. So maybe there's a little bit of yellowing on there. I could just be going crazy there, or it could just be the lighting, but I definitely noticed a different shade in the whites there. So let's look at the entire In Space team. And here we go, the complete Lightning Collection In Space team, and it's been quite the journey to get here. Half of these members are still very easy to find right now because they've been out for over a year, and 3 of them are part of the more recent batch of Lightning Collection figures, so they're a little harder to find because of course we had Wave 6 kicking it all off with In Space Yellow at the end of 2020 versus PAX Wave 1 with Andros, Wave 9 with Carlos versus PAX Wave 2 with TJ, Wave 10 with Cassie, and the Walgreens exclusive Zane, which has still not been officially announced and is sold out all over the place. Cassie has only recently started to pop up in Targets and Walmarts as Wave 10 is starting to trickle out. Same thing with Versus Packs Wave 2, and then the rest of them you can get probably on clearance at this point. So it is possible to track down this entire team right now, obviously, but this is what it looks like when you complete the whole thing, and I'm really happy with this. I love the way that this looks. I think this is one of the more consistent teams that we've had in the Lightning Collection. Because, you know, besides like the slight shoulder discrepancy, which like I said earlier in the video, when you have her arms kind of posed up like that and everything, and you look around with everybody, from a distance, it looks completely fine. But just know that it is different from In Space Yellow's. But yeah, I mean, everybody got their signature weapons, everybody got the Astro Blasters that needed them. Obviously, Zane didn't have one, but he never would have. Their civilian heads were pretty solid. I think the Zane, Carlos, and TJ ones were probably the best of the civilian heads, while Ashley and Cassie and Andros were probably the worst. Ashley is probably being the worst of the 6, because that teeth, the smile just looks a little strange. But yeah, this is it. The complete In Space Team and Lightning Collection, which is perfect because one of our only other complete teams is with the Psycho Rangers, which you can now finally pose all of these together with. Now, my Psycho Rangers are back up at my college dorm right now, so I can't do it currently. But here we are, the entire In Space team, and if you're trying to track this all down, hopefully you can get it relatively easily, because it looks really good when you get them all. So there we go. And guys, that is finally the end of Wave 10. So it took a little while to complete the whole wave, but we finally ended up doing it. After, you know, a while after we got the other 3 of them here, we finally got Cassie in. And this is a phenomenal wave. I mean, Hasbro knocked it out of the park with this one. There's just very minor complaints with this wave, but like, the selection is great. This is a very, very good team filler wave, is what I like to call it. Not that there aren't fan favorites in here, there definitely are. But this is a lot more of just kind of a filling out teams we've already started kind of wave. Because, you know, it completes In Space if you've been collecting everything so far. It completes Zeo if you've been collecting everything so far. It just continues Dino Charge for the first time in over a year. And it gives us one of the most popular Rangers of all time, the Phantom Ranger. It's great. I mean, it's the first wave with 2 female figures. You know, it gives you this amazing pinless Phantom Ranger figure mold and everything. And then, of course, it revisits the really nice Dino Charge mold. I mean, I love it. I love this wave a lot. And I hope that, you know, as it starts appearing more and more in Targets and Walmarts, you're all able to get your hands on it. And hopefully Hasbro Pulse and Amazon will actually ship it earlier than its estimated April release dates. But it's just great to finally have it all here and be caught up on the main waves, which means now the next wave to come out, whenever it will be the wave that we saw at PulseCon with Dino Fury Red, Luna Wolf Ranger, the Zeo Cog, and Dino Charge Pink. And I think that's a great selection as well. So if I had to rank this wave, Phantom undeniably is my favorite figure in the wave. Second place is probably Zeo Yellow. I don't have really any problems with hers, except for like both of the female figures I have here. Very, very tight and very scary neck joints. Third place is probably Dino Charge Green, and my least favorite is probably In Space Pink, but that's not because it's a bad figure or anything. It's just with the shoulder thing and the visor thing and just everything that it took to get this figure. I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of, not ruined it, but like it's kind of the one that had the most like controversy around it. The one that I think of the less of in terms of the rest of the wave. But that's just because it's such a strong wave. I highly recommend all 4 of these figures. I hope you can get them all. Be sure to check out my reviews on the other 3 of them, which I uploaded over a month ago, but they'll be linked in like the end card and such like that. And thank you all for watching. And until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. I'll see you all later.